cases, the power GPUs pack with many processors is being repurposed for machine learning rather than gaming needs. Google promised that data would be kept secure and says there will be per-minute pricing. There's a slide here on various features out of this that includes 3 components. Per minute billing is the first. Get the same per minute billing for GPUs that you do for the rest of Google Cloud Platform's resources. Pay only for what you need while you're using it. The second here is the GPU application frameworks. Compute Engine provides the hardware that you need to accelerate your machine learning workloads. The third, all the benefits of the Google Cloud. Run GPU workloads on Google Cloud Platform where you have access to industry-leading storage, networking, and data analytics technologies. It's all moving to the cloud, my friends. Google's there. Amazon's there. Are you there? You will be. Google also announced it has dropped the price on its Cloud Vision API. This is really neat, which allows companies to do things like recognize faces, detect entities, people, places, and things, and more. If you go back and we were talking about machine learning, you know, the way that happens is through, for example, these things called classifiers. And it allows for the machine to learn that if you're looking at a picture of an apple, then it's an apple versus an orange and the like. The same thing is applied at a kind of a macro scale here on Facebook, for instance, where it's able to determine who's in the pictures that you post. And really interesting stuff. The Cloud Language API allows for sentiment and other text analysis. This is fun stuff. And then there's the Cloud Natural Language API, call API from anywhere with support for embedded text and Google Cloud Storage, support for English, Spanish, and Japanese. Cloud Jobs API for relevant job search. For job seekers, there's faster and more relevant job search as well. For the businesses, there's an intuitive job search that surfaces relevant opportunities by leveraging a complete graph of how job titles, skills, location, and seniority relate to one another. Finally, Google announced a new premium translation tool designed to help enterprises with translation needs. This is called Premium Translation. And they have a grid here that differentiates between the standard version of Translate and the premium version of Translate. For more, there's a blog from Google. Let's see. Jibe, which is using the Jobs API, explains more. This other link, interesting. This is all from Google Cloud's Machine Learning Day. This looks like it's in San Francisco. And they're talking about the momentum of machine learning. My friends, you're going to hear this buzzword, machine learning, a lot. Like Nate Silver says, learn to separate the signal from the noise. But that's a little bit about what's going on there. I'm really going to check that out. The second thing here, though, also related, Google Translate. In the past on Pop Song Tech, we've talked about the translator features that are out there. In particular, we were talking about Skype Translate on an earlier show. But here from the Google blog this week, this is from Barek Turovsky, the product lead for Google Translate. This just came out this week as well. I suspect the two are related, given that they're on the same day. Found in translation, more accurate, fluent sentences in Google Translate. In 10 years, Google Translate has gone from supporting just a few languages to 103, connecting strangers, reaching across language barriers, and even helping people find love. At the start, we pioneered large-scale statistical machine translation, which uses statistical models to translate text. Friends, if you have kids growing up, make sure they take some good stats classes. Today, we're introducing the next step in making Google Translate even better, neural machine translation. Neural machine translation has been generating exciting research results for a few years, and in September, our researchers announced Google's version of this technique. At a high level, the neural system translates whole sentences at a time, rather than just piece by piece. It uses this broader context to help it figure out the most relevant translation, which it then rearranges and adjusts to be more like a human speaking with proper grammar. See, everybody's still trying to go after this Turing test right here. Google too. See, since it's easier to understand each sentence, translated paragraphs and articles are a lot smoother and easier to read. And this is all possible because of end-to-end learning system built on neural machine translation, which basically means that the system learns over time to create better, more natural translations. Today, we're putting neural machine translation into action with a total of 8 language pairs to and from English and French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese. I'm big on the Chinese one. This is one that I hope I've been saying to friends. I was talking to Bob over at the Paley Center, and I was talking with him. His background is Chinese, and I was saying to him, I got to get my girls learning Mandarin, man. The Chinese are really going to really be a monster presence in the world over the next 100 years here, and it's so important to understand that. But if you don't want to spend the time to learn Mandarin, Google Translate is there for you. So again, the language pairs to and from English include French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and Turkish. Interesting. These represent the native languages of around 1/3 of the world's population, covering more than 35% of all Google Translate queries. Pretty fascinating. With this update, Google Translate is improving more in a single leap than we've seen in the last 10 years combined, but this is just the beginning. While we're starting with 8 language pairs within Google Search, the Google Translate app, and website, our goal is to eventually roll neural machine translation out to all 103 languages and surfaces where you can access Google Translate. Huge. They're doing machine learning now for Google Translate. Love it. And there's more coming today, too. Google Cloud Platform. See, I knew they were related. Our public cloud service offers machine learning APIs that make it easy for anyone to use our machine learning technology. Today, Google Cloud Platform is also making the system behind neural machine translation available for all businesses through Google Cloud Translation API. You can learn more about it at this link here. Today's step towards neural machine translation is a significant milestone for Google Translate, but there's always more work to do, and we'll continue to learn over time. We'll also continue to rely on Translate Community, where language-loving, multilingual speakers can help share their language by contributing and reviewing translations. We can't wait for you to start translating and understanding the world just a little bit better. So a lot of really interesting announcements this week from Google there with opening up the cloud platform and the machine learning APIs to kind of the common businesses and public. Google Translate introducing machine learning to really add more effective translation capabilities, and they're going to be rolling that out over time here. So listen, I want to thank you for joining us today. That's our show. Today I want to thank the Morrison Brothers Band for having us feature their song today, Take a Shot, and I encourage you, if you're pursuing a dream or a job change or whatever it happens to be, take a shot, take a risk. Make sure it's a calculated risk with high probability. Be comfortable with uncertainty, as Nate Silver was saying. I think that's kind of a key core takeaway is, I think people were so shocked by the election results because they weren't comfortable with uncertainty. They saw 70% chance and said, oh, well, 70% chance versus 30% chance, that's greater. So therefore, it's natural that the person with a 70% chance is going to win. Well, no, because 3 times out of 10 that you run the same simulation, that simulation being the election itself, the other guy's going to win. And there's been a lot of reaction to that. But I think what Nate Silver was saying is a good takeaway, though. Be comfortable with uncertainty. Most people aren't comfortable with uncertainty. Uncertainty yields anxiety in many cases. But if you add the concept of probability to the uncertainty, you can take control, because you can take really informed risks, informed decisions based on probability. And if it happens to come up the other way, well, you did everything that you could have done to make that happen for yourself by increasing the probability. It's just like me. I'm trying to increase the probability for my kids of getting them, and I've already been brainwashing them, by the way, for getting into the University of Notre Dame, my alma mater. But I want to increase the probability that they can get into the same school, and then brainwash them along the way, saying it's the best way. Increasing probability is what this is about, and accepting the results of that. You have control about choosing the probabilities that you side with. You don't always have control about the outcome. And, man, what what a case study we saw there with the election, right? Well, listen, I want to thank you sincerely again for checking us out, for sharing the show with friends. I encourage you to check out the Morrison Brothers at the MorrisonBrothersBand.com. You can check us out on the web at PopSongTech.com, and I encourage you to retweet our tweets, reshare our posts on Facebook, and thanks so much for listening. We're going to end the show today with one final song from the Morrison Brothers Band. This is off their latest self-titled EP. This song, which came out, by the way, earlier this year, I encourage you to download it off iTunes like I did. This song is the opening song on that album. This is called Caroline and Carolina.
I miss your face. Can't let that pedal up. Ain't got no time to waste. Radio ain't playing. Nothing.